welcome to another video in colouring platter and bowl rims. Returning to the airbrush, going to work on a technique that I've seen part of this demonstrated elsewhere, where you spray airbrush through a material. This is some packaging that came with some picture frames, and I'm going to start off putting a base colour through this. Hopefully it'll give a nice effect. I'm going to be using black as the first colour, and then I want to put in some yellow and some orange, possibly some red. Taking this bit of tissue that's been on my bench for a few weeks as the colour inspiration. It may end up like this, it may end up completely different. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. Now I can't just rely upon gravity keeping the packing in place, so just a bit of masking tape just to give it some support. I want to open it some way, but not completely, because I don't want to have a completely black surface. I want to be able to have some variation. Going to give that a go. So black first, here we go. Can use the piece of packaging again. Yes, interesting sort of scorched effect. Not worked very well here. Let's give it another little go there. That's probably a bit too open. Because it's a smaller, more localized area, I think I'll just hold it in place and okay. Put that to one side. But what I found with using using airbrush colours is don't be put off by the first coat, because you build up the finish. So I'm going to stick with that and see how we get on with our subsequent colours. Spin it round, get to a bit, okay, up here. Let's try this. Bit better. Now I'm hoping that the camera's picking that up. I'm getting little sort of cells building up. Much more interesting. Okay, this could be a slow process. Okay, a bit bare up here. Okay, on to a bit of orange now. Now I want to try to preserve some of the yellow, so might be a bit more sparing with this, but I'm also conscious there's quite a lot of bare wood around the edge that I may need to frame in some way. Here comes some orange then. And I'm just picking areas where the orange isn't really there, just to create more depth to the yellow, and that's really taking effect. So there's darker bit flat here. Let's give this another go. Now, just going to put a general drift of colour of the yellow over what we've got here. It will mute the effect slightly, but it will give more depth of colour. I'm having to work with my glasses on, and they're so grubby I can't really tell how colourful it is until I look at it with the glasses off. Now I want a strong edge. I don't want anywhere on the edge that looks like there's no colour. Okay. Now in here, not really worked terribly well. I'm going to give this a little while to dry off, and then I'm going to come in with orange in those areas. Better down here. Better here. Maybe on this edge. Okay, now bit of general coverage of orange. Bring some variety. Don't want to take away all of the yellow though. Here looks a bit flat. I'm not quite sure how far my rim's going to go, so I want to get in there and get some of the effect in close in. Just where there are some of these areas where it's not quite as much as I'd like, I'm just going to give a little bit of red. In a few areas, I'm pulling the brush back so it's blending that in, just giving a bit more depth. Don't want these white bits of dust anywhere. Okay. Now I've been asked about the airbrush I used. This one is, the model name is Florion, but I've seen it by various names, a very similar design. It's working quite well, but it's got a little bit sticky. I think I probably will have to clean it out. I haven't cleaned it since I started using it really, so where I've been using spirit stains with it, I need to clear it out with a bit of methylated spirit. So it's come out a lot darker than my original intention. I think it's still got enough interest in it and life and vibrancy, especially around on this half. And here's the fun speeded up removing of the middle of the bowl, and a bit of sanding, and as usual I'll finish off the middle of the bowl with a bit of cellulose sanding sealer and a bit of buffing, and then I'm finding I'm getting much more success if I wax the bowl and then buff that off the lathe rather than do it on the lathe. I'm finding I am getting circular marks. The sanding was up to 400 grit, and removed the dust with a tack cloth, and finishing off as normal with some close-ups. Much more colour and vibrancy in the finished platter once it's out of the dim light of the workshop and photographed. This was another really enjoyable project to do, and I hope you like the results. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share.